Hello, everyone, and thank you for listening. Welcome, welcome, ladies and gents. So, if you don't know, now you know. Taken from the words of the wise, notorious B.I.G. Well, we're back here again. Another lawsuit. Netflix is sued over the movie When They See Us. This is all over in different outlets, on different media papers, and one of many being at Angel News. And so here underneath, without further ado, you see part of the scene of When They See Us, and a group of actors and actresses that are featured here. You can see part of the way. You can see the tops of their heads. I don't know if you're seeing exactly what I'm seeing, but the article is entitled Netflix Sued Over When They See Us. Believe it or not, here is the full photo of the actors and some people, some of them of whom appeared in the movie. So Atsushi Nishijima. Now, I may not be pronouncing that name correct, and I'm so sorry, and I apologize if I desecrated your name, but the article is now reading that the markers of When They See Us are being sued for defamation over, guess what, y'all? Interrogation tactics. The interrogation technique in the show that they showed, that scene where the boys were being interrogated for the crimes that they claim that they supposedly committed, that technique actually was called the Reid technique. Let's get into it. So Netflix and the show director Ava DuVernay are accused of misrepresenting what was called the Reid technique. It's a controversial method of questioning suspects during interrogation, of course. So the show refers to the practice as being universally rejected, okay? So a claim denied by the complainant, John E. Reid and Associates, Inc. They say that the show has caused the company to suffer damages. The series shows the story of 5 young men wrongly accused in 1989 of a rape of a woman who was jogging in Central Park. The conduct described is not the Reid technique, according to this lawsuit. Okay? So, there are some lawsuits that you can view that show the paperwork. Okay, so if I click on it, I just want to show you part of what it is. John E. Reid sources. Okay, so this is the document that was filed in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois' Eastern Division. It shows that John E. Reid and Associates, Inc., Plaintiff Netflix, Inc., Ava DuVernay, and Array Alliance, Inc. are the defendants. Now comes the plaintiff, John E. Reid and Associates, Inc., Reid by its undersigned counsel, Jack J. Carrillo, and Corey T. Hickman, and there's names that are all in here, and for its complaint against the Netflix and Ava DuVernay and Array Alliance. Okay, it says shall collectively be referred to as the DuVernay defendants, alleges as follows, and so it goes into the nature of action about When They See Us. And so it's rather lengthy, so I'm not going to read all of this to you. But it is here, and it even can be downloaded so you can see the document. Get that. So, yes. This was a technique called the Reid technique. All right. So it refers to a controversial technique that people are now talking about. that was used, that was shown in this movie. So it refers to a conversation between two characters, the Manhattan Assistant District Attorney Nancy Ryan and the New York City detective, in the final episode of the series. So Ryan's partner says that you squeeze statements out of them after 42 hours of questioning and coercing, without food, bathroom breaks, withholding parental supervision. Okay? So the Reed technique has been universally rejected. That's true to you. So Reed and associates say this is wrong and falsely represents the method. They claim that the actual technique is structured interview and interrogation process, which does not coercion and does not use coercion, intimidation, and denying a suspect their rights, and urges extreme care towards younger suspects as well. And so they claim that the FBI and the U.S. military and the police departments around the country are all clients of the company, founded by John Reed, a former police officer who pioneered this interrogation technique that had been taught since the 1974 era. So Reed and Associates say more than 500,000 individuals around the world have taken their training to learn the Reed technique. Okay, media playback is unsupported on your device. Okay, so media caption Raymond Santana, who is, you see here, he was one of the Central Park Five, was wrongfully convicted along with 4 others of raping a jogger in New York. Along with damages and profits, Reed and Associates want the show taken off Netflix until the offending line is removed or changed. Netflix and Ava DuVernay have not yet responded to the Newsbeat request for comment. So follow Newsbeat on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Okay, so that's basically that article right there. Okay, so our article also appeared in what is called The Vibe. Okay, and it also shows a similar portrayal that Ava DuVernay and Netflix is being sued for the portrayal of interrogation techniques and what they call the Reed technique in When They See Us. Ava DuVernay and Netflix have been sued over a portrayal of the Reed interrogation techniques of the Central Park Five in an Emmy Award-winning series called When They See Us. Okay, so according to a new report by Hollywood Reporter, according to the report, John E. Reed and Associates, a company that trains police officers on how to interrogate, claims that When They See Us sheds a negative light on the procedure and implies that it involves coercion. Okay, so the defendants intended to incite an audience reaction against Reed for what occurred in the Central Park Five jogger case and for the coercion and interrogation tactics that continue to be used today, to this day. So the suit reads, and I kind of brought you over to where the suit is. If you want to see it, it is online, and you can actually see the court papers that were drawn up for the lawsuit in question. And so it goes on to say that the defendants published the statement in When They See Us in an effort to cause a condemnation of the Reed technique. So the lawsuit also refers to a specific scene in that movie where the alleged Reed technique was badly dramatized. Okay, so pay attention to that. They claim that this was a technique that was badly dramatized and that it wasn't how it went off. But if you look at the movie, you know that there were 5 key players there, the 5 boys, and you knew that their ages, that they were minors. There was some minors, and there was one that was a little above the minor age, but he still was young. All of them relatively were young. And one was tried as an adult. And there had been from what we heard, what we not only saw, but what we heard, an injustice done to 5 young black, well, one being whom was Latino, but 4 plus 5 who was really done wrong in that justice system. So the lawsuit also refers to a specific scene where the alleged Reed technique was badly dramatized, is what they claim. So in the final episode of When They See Us, the district attorney's office employee confronts a detective in the case, saying, "You squeeze statements out of them after 42 hours of questioning and coercing, without food, bathroom breaks, withholding parental supervision. The Reed technique has been universally rejected, and that's truth to you." So the detective responds, "I don't even know what the effing Reed or the fucking Reed technique is, okay? So I know what I was taught and I know what I was asked to do and I did it." That's quote unquote from that responding detective. So Reed and Associates also claim that the program has caused harm to their company reputation, and the firm is seeing actual and punitive damage they're seeking in this lawsuit as well. So When They See Us, directed by Ava DuVernay, tells the story of the Central Park 5, the jogging case of a group of young black males, which one being Afro-Latino, still black in my book, who were falsely charged with the rape and assault of a jogger in 1989. So that's pretty much the article right there in a nutshell. So what do you think about this? Here's Ava DuVernay pictured here, and in the other you see the scene of the actors in the other article. And so this is really crazy, but I'm not surprised that this is happening. This movie was extremely controversial. When They See Us, it has won a Grammy. I believe it has done really well in Netflix, and now they're coming for them. They're coming for Ava DuVernay. The first person that came for them, the first that I know of, was one of the prosecutors, the woman that was portrayed in the movie. She came for them, stating that, that they were lying, that they weren't telling the truth, and that she felt like the boys were still guilty even after all those years. We know that our president had taken out an ad calling for the death penalty because of this. The other issue is now we have this Reed technique, which they're saying allegedly these people are suing John E. Reed and Associates Inc. plaintiff versus Netflix, Ava DuVernay, and Array Alliance Inc. defendants. They are allegedly claiming that they were falsely represented in the movie based on this Reed technique. And so now comes the plaintiff, John E. Reed and Associates Inc. Reed, by its undersigned counsel. And it goes on. It's pretty lengthy, so it's from page 1 all the way to page 41 to be exact. So if you desire to read it, it does exist. So I was able to retrieve it. But what do you think about this? It just seems like ever since this movie, it just never changed. It just brought back all of the old, the bad, and the ugly that happened back in '89, because there was a lot of racial divide in New York, which I believe still is, and it's, it's just in different ways. It's just evolved, and it's much like many other parts of the countries where in the U.S. that people have different political sides of the fence or views on issues. And so it's not uncommon for this type of thing to happen, but now we're being revisited some of the same ugly horrors that happened back in '89 when these 5 boys were told that they were going to lose their freedom because of the fact that they were involved in what was allegedly a rape case that was claimed that they had been exonerated from, and they are just being haunted on a day, week to month to year basis based on these type of allegations. And so now it's a lawsuit, and now they're coming for Ava DuVernay and Netflix. What do you think about this? Because this, notice that they waited until they got rave reviews and they got this Grammy, and they waited and they pounced on this issue. So what do you think about this? I've been sitting back and observing. This is something that I feel is unfolding. It's not going to go away. And wow, from 1 to 41 pages of a lawsuit. Wow. Just take a look, folks. Just take a look at this. Just take a look at this. Okay. Wow. So, the factual analysis stage consists of reviewing the case facts and evidence to identify potential scope of suspects and their characteristics, as well as possible motives. Based on the analysis of facts, the read technique then calls for the investigator to prepare an interview strategy, including a list of issues and questions to raise with a subject. And the interview questioning generally includes, but is not limited to, background information regarding the subject and his and her recollection of the incident in question. The interview is non-accusatory, and the interview is in the neutral and objective in seeking information from the subject. Based on information gathered during the interview stage, the investigator can either eliminate the subject as truthful, continue to investigate the subject, or initiate interrogation of the subject. Interrogation phase consists of 9 steps, which may cause a guilty subject or confession of his or her involvement to relate details regarding the commission of a crime or incident. The read technique does not involve or prohibit striking, assaulting a subject, making any promises of leniency, denying the subject of rights, conducting excessively long interrogations, denying a subject any physical needs. Read also urges that, okay, we know the read doesn't prohibit long investigations, is what they say, that they have 9 steps and what have you. Okay, so let's say that they did everything by the book and it was done correctly, playing devil's advocate here. We still know that at the end of the day, these were 5 youth that had been accused of a crime, and they are now exonerated of it because the real criminal told the truth. So they lost years of their lives, of their youth, behind a lie. What really happened in that interrogation room is the question. That's what I want to say. I'm going to leave you with that. But anyway, if they had done their job like they were supposed to, they wouldn't be in this. They, as in these people from this company and all these other people that were key players in this whole debacle, in this whole craziness, this mess that now is the whole world is exposed to. We know as people of color that there have been histories of people that have been interrogated by the officers of different circumstances, different isolated incidences, and have not been treated fairly. Whatever this technique is, okay, let's say there are steps to it and they didn't portray it correctly. It's a tit for tat thing. It's what it's sounding like. But what I'm saying is that we know at the end of the day that the truth came out and these boys were exonerated, and somewhere in law enforcement, in the justice system, somebody's made a big mistake at who they were incriminating. And a lot of people of color know that historically, when it comes to law enforcement and the justice system, that Black people usually have gotten the short end of the stick. And Yeah, I'm going to say that. They have gotten the short end of the stick, and they usually end up being put behind bars for long years for crimes they hadn't committed. We have people that are in prisons for crimes they have not committed simply because they looked like the person that did it. And they see a black person and they use the description, which generally looks like maybe 200 black guys that have the same type of bald haircut, that maybe have the same type of build, and oh, he did it. And they get accused for something that they didn't even do. They didn't even know what happened. They weren't even there at that scene of whatever incident supposedly happened. And they get accused for it and they get locked away. And then years later, you find out that because we have this great thing called DNA and science, where it has been extremely very accurate now because of technology, that they find out the person that they put behind bars was not the criminal that they were looking for. It was not the person that they were looking for, not the person that they assumed that did it, or maybe the person was not even involved in a crime whatsoever. They'd never been involved in crimes, but they looked like someone, or they fit a description that looked similar because phenotypically they assume that all black people look alike. They're being put in the same box as, oh, they're all criminals, or oh, they all look alike, or oh, he did it, she did it too. So we know as people of color that has happened. That has happened. Let's just be honest. And so that is the reason why this right here, this lawsuit, it makes it hard for me to believe that they feel that they can sue Netflix and Ava DuVernay over a technique that they feel wasn't portrayed correctly. When we know that even if you do the law of the book of the law by the letter, that still that doesn't mean that that group of people is going to be treated fairly. Because you already have your own bias set up in that system where you incriminate black folks. They have no justice. And so we have had a set of experiences historically that have been like that. And so it's hard to believe that even with them saying that, oh, it wasn't portrayed correctly, that those boys didn't get treated some type of way because they wound up losing a lot of their livelihood based on hearsay, based on a lie. That was proven that they were innocent years later. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for listening.